Hi everyone. So today I'm going to show you how to make cloth diaper wipes. I'm using some 100% cotton flannel from Joann's. They had a sale this last week and they had different prints that were on sale. This one is quite a bit thinner than this one, and for cloth diaper wipes I would suggest getting the thicker flannel. You can double them, two-sided flannel. You can put Sherpa on one side, cotton velour, just about anything really good that would feel good for a baby. The cotton terry knit for the yardage, one side cotton, one side the terry, is really nice for the baby because one side can wipe and the other side can scrub a little bit more to get them clean. So these are a couple prints that we are going to use. I got some just solid pink flannel that I'm going to do for these today, and I have some that I'm going to make for our boys that I'm going to use the cotton terry on one side and flannel on the opposite. So these are just going to be double-sided flannel, solid with a print on the opposite side, and I'm going to show you how to use the serger to just put the two pieces together and make one baby wipe. We are doing them measured 8 inches by 10 inches, and I am just using the rotary cutting tool and the cutting. Okay, so what I like to do is cut off your edge. This particular flannel had a stamp on the side that said it was printed for Joann's, so I lined that up and cut that section off. I don't want to have remnants of Joann's showing up on something that I may be giving as a gift or selling. I'm going to start on your zero line, and this is from pre-washing the fabric. We're going to slice all those off. Actually, let's slice them off now. That way I can make sure that it is nice and straight, because when they're cutting them at Joann's, they're cutting you your yard. I think this one I either took a half yard or a quarter yard. So I want to get these salvage edges or cut edges off and straight, and it'll be a lot easier for me in the process of cutting and sewing to get rid of that. So what I'm going to do, I like to have my baby wipes about 8 by 10. 8 by 8 is okay. A lot of people like to make them like that. I found on eBay, the ones that were for sale or at craft shows. I have done some in the past that were 7 by 10, and I liked them, but they were just a little too rectangle for me. So I'm going to make these 8 by 10. So I've got the one edge cut. I'm going to go ahead and clean up this other side. And again, these are just something that I'm making for ourselves and for some friends. So, again, with the school close enough, not the school of perfection. Okay. Now that's all cleaned up, as you can see. What I am going to do now is I've got just about 17 inches this way. I want to see what is the best way for me to cut this. I know I'm still going to end up with 8 by 10 squares. But if I don't have to cut it down the middle, it'd be a lot easier. So I'm going to fold it back the way it was, with the salvage edges together, making again sure that it's straight. Now I'm sure at the store I didn't tell them, hey, I want 17 inches worth of fabric. probably what I asked for was the quarter yard. Not quite straight here, I can see. So I'm just going to try to straighten this out a little bit more. Okay, I lied. I'm going for a little more perfection than I said. I'm just going to go ahead and trim this edge off so that I've got that straight edge that I'm trying to get. I'm just using a rotary cutter, and it is allowing me, right now I'm cutting through 4 layers of fabric all in one shot. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this 8 inches. Applying enough pressure, you can cut through it for sometimes 6 or 8 layers at a time, depending on how thick your fabric is. When I'm just doing quilting, I can cut through quite a few. Let's see, I didn't quite put enough pressure right there for the 4 layers. So I'm just going to line that back up so that I can get my cut. Here we go. And then I only had 1 inch of waste. I'm not going to be able to use that for anything. So into the scrap pile it's going to go. Now I just cut those on the 8 inch, and I'm making my wipes today 10 inches, 8 by 10 inches. And these are going to be double-sided flannel, like I said. It's just what I had on hand. Like I said, Joann's had a sale on this printed nursery stuff the other day, so I picked up a little bit to play with this. And we're going to have a couple dozen baby wipes here in no time. So I'm lined up on the 0 mark. I'm going to cut this on the 10-inch mark. And you can do these, the printed sides, two printed sides together. I like to do a printed and a solid side. The solid flannel was quite a bit less expensive. You can also use old washcloths, old receiving blankets if you don't want to run right out to the store. Some old soft flannel from pajamas that you don't wear anymore, or your husband's shirts. You can make them out of just about anything. You can make them fun or you can make them plain. And that 18 inches is going to give me exactly 8. And the one's a little bit small, but that's okay. It's from the cutting counter, not quite getting them straightened out. So that is how I am cutting the fabric. I'm going to cut a few more colors for my solids for the back. So another thing you can do that can help you with your sewing, when you go through the serger, you can also turn and top stitch these. I'm just going to put them through the serger. Is you can use anything with a rounded edge. You can use a quarter, any other kind of coin. This is just a small cup that we got from like a bowl of Cheerios. Mark with a fabric pen, which I can't find right now, so I'm just doing this. And you can make that curve on your fabric for a following guide to round your edges as you're going through the sewing machine or the serger. I'm just doing them freestyle because, again, not going for perfection. And that's okay. For this step in the tutorial, I'm going to show you how to sew your 2 edges together. Make sure that all your settings are just right. You can do this on a test piece of fabric. I have all of my upper threads and lower threads set on a number 4 tension and on a number 2 for the stitch width. You can start with either your presser foot up or down, and you can do the chain stitching so that you're not continually stopping. It's an assembly line method that I learned when I was doing quilting. I am doing these wrong sides together because I'm not going to turn and top stitch them. If you're going to turn and top stitch them, do them wrong sides together, leave an opening of about 2 or 3 inches so that you can turn them and then fold over and do your top stitch. So, and like I said, I am going to eyeball my corners. I like to start on a straight edge, not on a corner, so that I can get rid of the tail when I'm done. And I have my blade down to cut my edges to make sure that they're all even. But with this 8 by 10 measurement, I don't want to lose a lot of the fabric, so I'm just kind of lining it up with the blade as I'm going. Coming to that corner, start to turn your fabric. And this is really fast with the serger. It goes a lot faster than with the sewing machine. And that's why I prefer this method to the turning and stop stitching. So as you can see, when I started, I had a tail from the serger. And just so you know, I've only used the serger maybe a half a dozen times. I've made a couple batches of some diaper wipes, and I made a couple of cloth diaper covers, probably a dozen. So this is only about the 4th time I've had this thing out. Now when you're done here at the end, I'm going to go right over this tail, so it's going to cut it off, but it's going to leave me a new tail for my ending point. So to finish, at this point I've got the tail. You can keep going, bring it around to the front, because my cutting blade is down, and just like that it's done. Now to get rid of this tail, you can use some fray check and cut it to the end of that, and that will keep that from unraveling, or you can use a needle and thread this sprayed up into the other thread so that it's going to disappear, and that's probably what I'm going to do with it, because I don't want to have to run to the store to buy more fray check. So that is your completed first baby wipe. I hope you liked the video, and I will be posting more in the future. Thank you.